I am Julie Herman of Jaybird Quilts and Lazy Girl Designs, and welcome back to the Lazy Angle Basics series. This week we're going to be working on Rhapsody Quilt. Rhapsody Quilt builds on the skills that we have built so far. In week 1 we made a one-step block with beach ball. In week 2 we made a 2-step block with the apple pie table runner. And in week 3 we made the stargazer pillow with a 3-step block. So we're going to combine those skills now into Rhapsody. Additionally, we're going to work on companion blocks. Companion blocks are things such as squares or a corner flip or flying geese that can be used with Lazy Angle blocks. I also want to talk to you about fabric selection. I made some additional resources to help you with fabric selection for your Rhapsody quilt. So make sure you're signed up for the sew along emails. If you're not yet, you can do so at the link posted in the caption below. When you sign up for the emails, you'll receive an email with a PDF. Inside the PDF is a coloring worksheet that you can use as a guide to pick your fabrics. Page 2 of the worksheet includes a fabric key so that you can keep track of the fabrics that you've selected. There are so many possibilities for fabric selection for Rhapsody. I've gone ahead and digitally made up a few different versions, and I'm going to talk to you about why I made the selections that I did. Hopefully one of my versions will inspire you or will give you the inspiration you need to come up with one that is totally your own. Here I'm showing you the fabrics that I used on the cover sample for Rhapsody. I picked a background that was nice and light and contrasted well with my other fabrics. I picked a large focal fabric and then accented it with an orange and a pink that supported it well. It allows you to clearly see the shapes and have the blocks pop off of the background. In this version, I picked a busy print as the focus fabric. Then I decided to have the accent Y fabric have higher contrast and be a different color. Here you see it's a yellow print. I picked the pink small scale to round it out, and it all contrasts well off of the cream background. In this version, the 3 fabrics are much closer to each other, so you see the overall design pop off of the background, but you don't see each individual shape as much as you do in the other versions. From far away, all 3 blend together, but up close you do see the shapes. For this version, I decided to start with a black background and then pick lighter fabrics for high contrast. I decided to go monochromatic and use the Muse colorway of the Stonehenge Gradations. Picking 3 different fabrics in the same colorway, but with enough contrast between all of them, gives some real nice movement within the quilt. For this version, I started with the same dark background and made another monochromatic version. This one uses the Peacock colorway of the Stonehenge Gradations. You can see this has a similar feel to the previous one, but a cooler feel with the blue colorway. For this version and the next one, I wanted to show you how much background can change things. So first I'm going to show it to you with a black background fabric and then with a white background fabric. Also, I wanted to show you that you don't have to stick to 3 fabrics if you don't want to. So you'll see here for the focus fabric, I used red and yellow. I used red in the centers of the block, and I used yellow for the flying geese units. And then I used 2 fabrics for the accent fabric, orange and yellow, followed by using green in the Lazy Angle blocks. In this version, the fabrics have not moved in their placements, just the background has changed. And wow, it makes a huge difference. The yellow doesn't stand out at all, it fades into the background, and the red and the green really pop. It's just a matter of preference and what you want in your quilt. This version, featuring Tula Pink's Tabby Road Deja Vu, was made up by Matt from JF Quilting Designs. He wanted to feature all 8 prints in her new Deja Vu release. So he decided to use 7 in the blocks and 1 for the border. 4 fabrics are used for the focus fabrics. 3 in the block centers have fussy cut designs, and then 1 is used in the flying geese blocks. 2 fabrics are used for accent X, and then 1 for the Lazy Angle blocks. And since there's so much going on in those fabrics, he chose a white on white for the background so that it would have some contrast. Kits of this colorway are available for pre-order now. The link is in the caption below. For this version, featuring Roar by Tula Pink, I decided to switch things up. Instead of making the background neutral, generally a light or a dark, I decided to make it a pink print. As such, it makes different shapes pop in different ways. Then there is a cream used in the Lazy Angle blocks. And this cream is what you might typically expect to be in the background. Instead, it's used in the Lazy Angle blocks and almost gives the illusion of curved piecing, even though there is no curved piecing here. Then the center focus fabrics are fussy cut dinosaurs, supported by flying geese in another fabric, and then 2 fabrics are used for the other accents. And then to round it all out, the border is the border print from the collection. This version you're looking at here is what I'm going to begin piecing with you during this sew along. I wanted to select things that would have high contrast and be easy to see under the rulers when I show you the demonstrations. I chose a purple red to be the main floral, an orange in the same place as orange in the original, a pink small scale in the same place as the pink small scale in the original, and a cream for the background. Once you've decided on your fabrics, it's time to go ahead and begin cutting. Rhapsody includes 2 different blocks as shown on page 2. And those 2 blocks are made up of a variety of 4 units also shown on page 2. There's different sizes needed of cutting to make those units, so carefully follow the directions throughout the pattern. Our center units, as shown on the bottom of page 2, are squares cut from strips. I'll be using this fabric. Our corner units, as shown on the top of page 3, use 2 different squares, one from our background and one from our accent X. In this case, I'm using orange. Then we have our lazy units, which begin the cutting on the bottom of page 3. I'll be using this fabric and the background fabric and rotary cutting them from strips. After you've made the lazy angle units, we go ahead into the flying geese units beginning on page 8. And those are made using 3 fabrics. We're going to cut squares, but those squares are not the same as the ones we've used earlier in the project. So make sure that you don't get things mixed up. I highly suggest that you make one type of unit at a time so that you don't mix up your pieces. Now I'm going to show you how to cut 7.5-inch strips of fabric. I'm going to demonstrate on one fabric, but you'll be cutting this size from 3 of your fabrics. Follow your pattern to make sure that you're cutting the right strips from the right fabrics. So first thing I need to do is square up my fabric. So I'm going to line up my ruler so that I have a horizontal line across the top. That way, when I have my long strips, they're straight and not a V. And I'm going to make sure I'm on the fabric good. And this is magnetic, so it won't slide. It's one of the nice perks of the Sew Tight system. So trim that off. Now I'm going to lift the ruler and I'm going to rotate the strip around. Now we need a 7.5-inch strip, and the ruler that comes with this system is 6.5, and the rulers that come with most things are either 6 or 6.5. You may own a larger ruler and you may not, so let me show you a couple options. If you have another straight ruler, you can go ahead and put them together to make wider till you get to your 7.5, line it up and cut. But what do you do if you don't have that longer ruler? If you're using a 6.5-inch ruler, I have a hack for you. This doesn't work with a 6, it only works with a 6.5. The Jumbo Lazy Angle has a marking on it that makes a perfect 1 inch. So this solid line here below the 7.5 is 1 inch from the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Jumbo Lazy Angle on the edge of my fabric, and then I'm going to butt this ruler right up against it. Make sure that I'm still on my fold down here, and I'm going to slide this ruler down just to make sure I'm straight all the way across. Adjust it all as needed. Looks like I'm good to go, and now I can cut a 7.5-inch wide strip. I hope you now feel confident in picking out your fabrics so that you're ready to go on your Rhapsody quilt. In our next video, we're going to take the 7.5-inch strips that we cut, and we're going to begin to make our Lazy Angle blocks. See you soon.